Marquise, Yale, and Banks used to have an apartment they used to share in Manhattan, and I went to pick 50 up from there. So Marquise told me that I guess like he had a girl there, like a girl that he just told me something. So him and I got to argument. He beat the mess out of me, and then told Marquise, "See, it's your fault. I had to whoop your mother's ass."
I gotta ask you a question. Now, people to say, well, y'all wasn't together, right, when that happened, right?
Yeah, I had just left him. Maybe not. We weren't even broke up for a year at that time. I don't think it was not even a year. No,
So people gonna ask, man, and the chat probably gonna say, well, why'd you stay at his house if y'all was broken up? Or was it a
it,
house that he bought for you? What?
it was a house
Explain
that
that part.
it was a house that he brought for me. So if I'm his son's primary caretaker, which by the way, when people always try to say, "Oh, you brainwashed him, you this, you that," the man has plenty of money at that time. We have a custody agreement. He signed over all his rights voluntarily. He signed over. The courts gave Marquise his own separate attorney. He signed over all his rights voluntarily. Like, say if I wish I would have had the agreement out if I was thinking I would have it next time. I'll have everything so I could read it verbatim. Like if Marquise was on a life support system, it's I will consult with his father, but I made the final decision and everything with Marquise, where he lived, where he goes to school. The only thing he asked was I couldn't change his surname, which is his last name, and if I moved or went out of a certain proximity, he would have to know. But he had every other weekends. I didn't trust him, so I would have him meet me at the precinct. He had every other weekends and every other holidays, to the point where he didn't keep up with his visitations. I was able to move to Georgia, and he didn't even know because he wasn't keeping up with his visitation. Not that I was keeping it from him. I was able to move to another state, and he did not know because he wasn't keeping up with his visitation.
Now, do you think because he didn't want to, or he just was busy being the entertainer artist?
No,
What
I think
how's his opinion?
he didn't want to because it it's nothing that you're gonna be so busy to see your child. Like I don't care. Like don't get me wrong, he's a busy artist, but when I was with him, he made time and he saw Marquise all the time. Well, we lived together, but he's traveling. It's a lot, but you saw him then, so I don't understand like why that we're not together. You can't see him, and that's what he would do in the course. And sometimes the judge would check him. He was like, "Oh, well, he always wanted to come to my house to see him," and I'm like, "No." So the judge was like, "Well, you could go get him and take him to the park, or take him to your grandmother's house in Long Island. Why do you have to sit with Miss Tompkins to see him?" He then after the fire, I got a new number. He tried to get the course to make me give him his number. I said no. Marquise has his own phone. It's no need for you to talk to me.
You think it was all about you? Let me ask you a question, right? Do you think he wanted? I'm gonna say this. Do you think he loved you more than he loved his child?
Well, he told my sister that. So my middle sister was living with us in Pennsylvania. Um, she wasn't getting along with my. Not even say she wasn't getting along with my stepfather. My stepfather was very mean to my middle sister, but that's another story. So I went and got my middle sister, and I brought her to live with us, which I can say, because I'm always gonna keep it all the way G. I'm gonna keep it all the way official. Boo Boo even helped me with my sister. Like he would take her to school while I would go to work. We always worked good as a team together. And my sister said one day he was taking her to school, and they were talking about my sister's situation with my stepfather. And he was saying that he was expressing to my sister, if that were me, like if I would have put my hands on um Mia, which is my daughter. He was like, your sister I would have been out of there. Like he's like, she wouldn't play all of that. So that's what he was expressing to my sister. And my sister said he then looked at her and said, "But I love your sister more than I love them kids." And that's what he said to my sister. "I love your sister more than I love them kids." And he always used to get upset with me because he felt like I poured too much in my children, or I paid them too much attention. Like he would come home sometimes. Marquise is like, say like Marquise and I were laying down watching TV, and he would come in and say, "Get out of my bed watching my TV with my woman." I'm his mother, and he's a little kid. Like, I'm his mother, and he's a little kid. But that was his mentality. But we were very close. Like, we were. I mean, old times weren't bad. We were very close. We were very, very close. We were very, very, very close. And even me leaving him wasn't the easiest decision. Like that was not easy. That wasn't easy. That wasn't easy. Like, when you love someone and care for someone to that magnitude, that wasn't easy. To break up my family unit, that wasn't easy. But I know I deserve better, but I still will put myself in my back pocket for my children. My children didn't deserve to see their mother being mistreated to the point where now that my daughter's older, I always talk to my children, but it's like she's sharing more emotions. She's sharing more emotions with me. Now that she's getting older, and saying how like that kind of affected her.
So we got a lot to talk about. You know, we're gonna limit this. You're
Yeah, I
not
guess
gonna
we're
do
gonna
all in
limit
one.
this.
So basically, it was from you to Sierra, then to the most
I mean,
recent.
he definitely had different holes in different area codes. Let's say if Marquise was with him, he had a different woman with him. But like, that's not none of my business. But Ciara was like his main girlfriend at the time, which Marquise like really, really liked him. Like, he always had. And by the way, it's so crazy. Marquise always expressed how much he liked Ciara. But when he met Daphne, I never forget, he came, we were visiting New York, and his dad and Daphne was staying at his grandparents' house, and I was staying at my grandmother's house. So, he took Marquise over to his grandparents' house, whatever, little visit or whatever. And Marquise came back, and he looked at me, and he said, "Mommy, she's not for my father." And I said, "Well, why don't you tell you that? Tell him that he's not." She's like, "She's just." I said, "Well, what did she? Is she nice to you, or did she disrespect me?" He's like, "She didn't do anything to me." She said, "She's just not for my father." And that's what's so crazy. Like, he didn't like her from the jump, but like I said, adored Ciara, but didn't like her. I don't want to say he didn't like her. He just said that whatever he sensed, I don't know if it was like a discernment. He just said it. She just wasn't. Was that?
Is there any financial gain from 50 Cent at this point, from him to you?
No,
Because people may say you still want money. There was a
no.
viral clip about Marquise with child support at 27.
Which
Can,
is
can we can we touch on that real quick?
all lies. He paid child support. My child support declaration was until Marquise was 21. He hasn't paid child support in like 8 years.
So the video with him saying about paying the money, what was it, with Choke No Joke? I think something like that. The video, the guy that did the interview with Marquise, that was the old video basically.
Say that again. Could you repeat that, please?
Got a little background noise. I said that. Remember the video with Marquise that came out? He was talking about he wanted child support at 26 years old. I think he did the interview with Choke No Joke or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Was that an old interview?
Which was untrue. Marquise was stating that we jumped out of a burning house with our pajamas on. We lost everything. He was saying to Choke, I would like to call him a different name, but I'm not. He was saying to him that I had to start my life over with nothing but 6,700. And to the average person, I guess that's a lot. And I get that, because that's not the average child support. But average child support goes to average people. Marquise's father is not the average person, so he's not going to receive the average child support. His life is not the average life. Like, and it's not about just wanting materialistic things and saying that it's not the average life. Being with his dad and all the drama and chaos that comes with it, he's supposed to be well fed, organically fed, well tutored, behind someone's gated community, security. Like, that's what it is. Like, at one point, when the Murder Inc. trial was going on, Chris Lighty suggested that we homeschool Marquise for security purposes.
Did y'all get threats?
No, not that I know of, but just for security purposes, like, oh, well, he should be homeschooled. We homeschooled. Marquise was homeschooled. So now that I decided I don't want to be with you, you just say, oh, that's it. You just throw us to the wolves.